Good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that has committed the crime. As you stand before me this morning, you are presumed to be innocent. That presumption of innocence stays with you through every stage of these proceedings, unless and until the state attorney's office can prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, it will be used against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When I call your name, please step forward to the podium. Glenn Chiarelli.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning, sir. Date of birth?
7/17/59.
All right, Glenn, the charge is a violation of an injunction. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'd like you to appoint a public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State, what can you tell me?
Your Honor, it looks like in 2017 in June, he had some type of a non-moving traffic violation. In May, an obstruction of public streets. Then go back to 2015, it looks like an assault with an intent to do domestic violence. In 2015, some type of it looked like a driving on a suspended license. In April of 2015, he had a battery second offense. February 2015, violation of injunction. January 2015, violation of injunction. 2014, that's a registration. Looks like he was released from prison in March of 2014. In 2013, he had a violation of injunction, battery second offense. In 2012, violation of injunction. That was in May. January 20th, 2012, another violation of injunction. That was a contempt of court. 2011, violation of injunction. Contempt of court for violation of injunction. 2011 March, probation violation. 2010 battery.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. And Glenn, it looks like you're homeless these days. Is that right?
I just moved in with a friend of mine.
Okay, where's that address?
It's on Strauss.
Okay.
In Spring Hill. I don't know the number.
Okay.
3343.
Do you have a job these days?
I'm self-employed, Your Honor.
What do you do?
Handyman work.
Okay.
Pressure washing, lawn care.
Okay.
Handyman work.
All right. Glenn, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. Condition of the bond is that you're going to not have contact with any of those folks that have an injunction against you. It's like Robert, Diane, and Deborah. You understand that now? I want you also to understand that they can't just call you up and say it's okay to have contact. All right. The only way that injunction goes away is if you've got a judge telling you that it went away. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to have you back in court on the 4th of October. Very important that you go see the public defender if you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. David Fontaine. Morning, David. What's your date of birth?
October 4th, 1963.
All right. And David, you got a charge of battery. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, in 2016, he had a contempt of court for violation of injunction. In June of 2016, looks like he had a violation of probation with an FTA attached. In 2016, there's a battery with no disposition listed. 2011, then you had violation of probation. 2010, battery. 2005, driving on a suspended license, along with a probation violation, and then in 1988, a DUI. Looks like he does have some out-of-state history. And I believe this is out of Rhode Island, it looks like. 2004, we have a simple assault. 2005, an FTA. 2005, driving on a suspended license. 2002, simple assault.
That's pretty good. All right, David, I got an address for you on Broad Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
For 5 years.
All right. Rebecca lives there too?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Okay.
Through the dog bowl.
Stop. Don't say anything about the facts, David. I'm going to set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you not have any contact with Rebecca. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. Don't contact her through social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charge is resolved. It means no contact even if she wants to contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you at the jail today up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. I'm going to have you back in court on October 3rd. It's very, as far as the address on Broad Street goes, as long as Rebecca stays there, you'll have to find somewhere else to stay. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to do that, you've got to contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy. You'll have a few minutes to get your things and get going where you're going.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Hertig.
Morning,
Morning, Chris. Date of birth?
3/15/65.
All right, Chris charges possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
All right. I'll appoint the PD. State what you tell me.
Your Honor, 2009, a driving on a suspended license with probation violation. 2008, probation violation on a DUI from 2007. A paraphernalia charge from 2004. And then there's some stuff from back in, I believe it was New York. All from from New York. So those are from the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. And Chris, where you been staying lately?
I stay at 34 off Fifth Street, Merceville.
Okay, how long you been there?
About 5 years.
You have a job these days?
Working out of the labor hall and site work.
Okay. All right. Chris, I'll set your bond at $100. I'll have you back in court on the 4th of October. If you get out, make sure you go see the public defender, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Jones?
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Mr. Jones. What's your date of birth?
12/24/1979.
Charges aggravated assault with a deadly weapon being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
I'll hire private counsel.
All right. And state.
Your Honor, it looks like in Florida, he has 2 prior batteries out of Pasco County that were both dropped, and then out of, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said the year, that was 2015, and then out of Pennsylvania, in 2005, he had a DUI. It was dropped. 2002, looks like there was some type of, I'm sorry, 2006, there was some type of, looks like probation violation. I'm sorry, let me rephrase or say something different. It looks like there were 2 DUI charges. One of them was dropped, and one of them was the plea of guilty, which there was violation of probation, it looks like.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
All right. And John, I've got an address for you on Montano Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
I just purchased that home 2 months ago.
Okay. And Kenya lives there too?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
I do.
What do you do?
I do security systems and locking hardware.
Okay. All right, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. Condition is that you have no contact with Kenya. Did you hear me explain that a moment ago?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that?
I do. She's 12. I'm that.
Okay. Who's she with now?
I assume she's with her nanny, but I wasn't really informed.
Okay. Well, you're still going to have no contact with her. And I don't know where she's staying either, but if she's staying on Montano, you have to stay somewhere else. So I don't know what adult is in charge of that girl, but you have to not be where she is. You understand that?
Yeah, I do, but I'm her father.
I understand that. And it doesn't make any difference. You're not, until this gets resolved, you're not having contact with her, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Also have to hold you until 4 p.m. We'll have you back in court on the 3rd of October. Make sure that you get a hold of your lawyer right away and tell him about that date, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Judge.